Okay, so here we are up in Francis Marion National Forest, and this particular area that we're in here right now is up on top of an old sand dune. Believe it or not, 100 million years ago, all this area was underwater. In fact, the entire southeastern coastal plain from Virginia all the way down through the Carolinas, the Gulf Coast states, much of Florida was underwater. In fact, at one time the water was all the way up to the Sandhills region of this state, which is just about before you get to Columbia. If you've ever been up there, you notice the big hills. Yeah, and so those are old sand dunes. In fact, what we're on right now, is an old dune, and this area is known as the coastal plain. It's relatively flat. It's also an area that has been frequented by fire for many, many millions of years. In fact, the species of plants, mainly the trees which dominate this area, are adapted to fire. They've been experiencing it for millions of years and have evolved all kinds of growth and structural adaptations that allow them to withstand fire. This is an area that is relatively flat. You all know that in the spring and the summer we get lots of thunderstorms. Those thunderstorms cause lightning. Lightning starts fires, and so as you can imagine, fires visit this community quite regularly, and evolution has shaped these organisms in order to deal with that fire. So one of the things that you notice about this area is that the trees are much more spaced out than they were in the forest that we observed up closer to Highway 17. This is much more open. In fact, the settlers, when they first came to this area, talked about how they could ride their horses through these forests full gallop and never run into branches or shrubs or anything like that. But they also did talk about the hint or dint of smoke in the air, the result of fires that were burning in these areas fairly commonly, or were actually set purposefully by Native Americans as a mechanism of flushing out and opening up the forest for hunting and growing and those sorts of things. So yeah, very, very open forest. Much of the understory is grasses and shrubs, and you can see some pine needles on the floor. And so if you can imagine a forest fire moving through this area, that forest fire is likely to stay fairly close to the ground. So as we wander around, I want you to see if you can identify some of the both structural, anatomical adaptations that these trees have for withstanding fire. Also, what about some of the growth adaptations that these trees have for surviving the fires that sweep through this community?